Hi, I'm Andy and welcome to my channel about crypto. In today's video I'll focus on NFTs, why now is particularly good moment to buy them, and also on a few interesting projects which I think at the moment present really good buying opportunity. But first, before we start talking about NFTs, let's have a look at Bitcoin and overall market situation to see why now it's a good moment to get into NFTs. So let's have a look at Bitcoin's chart. As you can see, last few days were pretty good for Bitcoin. Well, in fact, last couple of weeks were really good for Bitcoin. In the last 2 or 3 days, we slowed down and we seem to be sitting around 60K mark, which is certainly not a bad thing. And we continue this really nice rally towards the new all-time high. If we zoom out a bit, we are still conquering those 4 peaks here. We had a bit of, let me zoom it out, we had a bit of resistance when we reached that first peak, so that was around 58K level. As you can see, at the beginning of the last week, we were battling with that level. Then we just went past the second one, and now we are just above the third one. But last few days, well, we're sort of bouncing around that level, approaching the previous all-time high, but certainly not getting there just yet. So I think my theory that we are somewhere in a similar position that we were towards the end of last year, so somewhere here, when we had this move up, then a bit of sideways movement, and then this massive rally towards new all-time high, which was, well, at the time twice the previous all-time high. I think we are in similar-ish position because we keep going up and we have those slight sideways movements in between, but we don't really have any corrections. We stopped for a bit here, we stopped a bit here and here, and again now, but we're not really seeing any dips. And I think this is largely fueled by the news about upcoming Bitcoin ETFs, which I believe go live tomorrow, which will potentially mean more money coming into crypto. And overall, well, last quarter of the year is generally bullish for Bitcoin and for crypto. So I think there's a lot of optimism and people expect that, well, Bitcoin will hit new all-time high very, very soon. I certainly still believe that it will happen within the next sort of week to 3 weeks. Last week I said that it's likely to happen within 2 to 4 weeks, and I stick to that time frame. And if we look at the current prices, and let me just zoom out a bit, from the current level, we only need another, well, pretty much exactly 5% to get to new all-time high, around 65K. And as you can see, that 5% movement, I mean, we've done it on a few occasions in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So it's certainly possible that we can hit new all-time high literally any day. And if anything, that bit of resistance here, I think that's fueling that rally. So I wouldn't be surprised that we may still bounce up and down in that 63K range for another couple of days. But then I wouldn't be surprised if same thing happens as it happened here, where we will just sort of go straight away past 65K and potentially towards 70K or so. If you look at some other metrics like crypto fear and greed index, well, it may show that we are currently in extreme greed level or at extreme greed level. But as we are reaching those higher prices around all-time high, previous all-time high and above, we will stay in that category. And if you look at the actual number, it's 78. And actually that's way below where we were in February or pretty much most of last quarter of last year, where we were bouncing around 90-95 level. So I wouldn't worry about this too much. Usually being in the extreme greed means that there is correction coming up. And to be honest, considering this move up, well, I I think it's pretty obvious that there is correction coming, but I think we still have a bit of power there to go above that previous all-time high, then correct a bit, and then that will fuel the next rally towards potentially 100k or above. So why all of that is important for NFTs? Well, if you are interested in NFTs and you've been looking at prices recently, you can see that a lot of projects dropped in value quite a bit. And that happens because people are taking out profits from NFTs and putting them into crypto, because cryptos are rallying at the moment. And of course, as cryptos are gaining value, eventually people will start taking profits out of that. We just looked at that fear and greed index. And once Bitcoin hits new all-time high or goes a bit above it, people will feel that, okay, well, they will either make some healthy profit or they will just start feeling a bit anxious about it coming back down. So they will start taking some money out. I'm not talking about completely liquidating positions, but just taking some of the profits. And then of course, well, what you do with those profits next is put them in whatever you think will pump next. As NFTs at the moment are quite low, well, it makes perfect sense to put this money into NFTs, which will then in turn make them pump. Then profits will be taken out of NFTs, back into crypto, and so on. So what projects I'm looking at the moment? Because basically it's a great buying opportunity right now. Prices are quite a bit down from where they were even just a couple of weeks ago. So a lot of projects which maybe you've missed when they were first released or you couldn't get on the whitelist, you can actually get at quite good prices. My personal favorite at the moment is Jungle Freaks. It's a really big project. There's been a lot of hype around it. The floor price is at 1.1 ETH, so it's not exactly a cheap project, but I've seen it already, the floor price hitting 1.4, 1.5 ETH. You can see that actually floor price may be 1.1, but there's only one freak at that price. Very quickly the price goes up to 1.2. In fact, there are only 7 freaks below 1.2 ETH. So these will get scooped up quite quickly, most likely, and the floor will keep going up. There was a lot of hype around this project. Alex Becker mentioned it. A lot of other YouTubers mentioned it. It's all 100% hand-drawn, so all freaks are absolutely unique. And they were all drawn by Hustler Mag cartoonist. So essentially there's a big artist name behind it, really cool artwork. And this is widely recognized to be as one of the next blue chip NFTs. So it's a lot of people are saying that's similar to Bored Ape Yacht Club. And if you look at that project, once it loads, well, first of all, there is certainly some similarity when it comes to the artwork itself. And then look at the floor price. At the moment, that's 35 ETH. And that actually moved down a little bit recently as well. So even if Jungle Freaks don't go quite this high, and to be honest, personally, I think they have potential to hit that sort of price, these prices and above. But even if they don't go quite this high, well, something around 5 to 10 ETH in not too distant future is certainly very achievable. So yeah, I think it's a great project. Like I said, not the cheapest one, but prices around 1 ETH are not too bad. If you weren't on the whitelist and you couldn't get one in the pre-sale, essentially you would pay probably anything between half ETH and 1 ETH anyway to get one, because the floor price was from about half ETH up. And if you try to mint one on Friday during the public sale, gas fees were absolutely insane. So you would still pay roughly, well, close to 1 ETH for one of those. So 1.1 is actually not too bad if you consider the potential of the project. Of course, not everyone has 1 ETH to spend on a JPEG, so we have few other projects here which I think are really interesting. Astro Bros on Immutable X, it's another really cool one. I minted a couple of those, and you could mint them for I think 0.07 or 0.06 ETH. Right now floor is around 0.1 something, 1.1, 1.2. So they are not even twice the price of the mint price. So that's pretty good. And I've seen them already around 0.4, 0.5 shortly after the sale was closed. So they dipped quite a lot in price, and they certainly have a lot of potential. The artwork is pretty cool, especially if you like that sort of retro game style. But yeah, considering where the prices went straight after the launch and how much they dipped, I think it's a really good project to get into, and it's not too expensive at the moment. Another popular one is Moody Crows. They're a bit more expensive, around 0.6 ETH, but they were around 0.8 already. They dipped at some point around 0.4. Seems like they're picking up quite nicely now, but they are still below the prices where they were a couple of weeks ago. And again, this project has quite a lot of support from a few big names, so I think it has potential to do really well. The artwork is pretty cool too. So it's another good project, I think, to at least consider. Another interesting one is Metazorz, and this one had quite a bit of a dip. The public sale was on Friday, and the prices went down from about, I think, 0.6, 0.7 to, well, roughly half that, 0.35. Again, pretty cool artwork. There were some issues with the public sale. I didn't participate in the public sale, but I saw on a couple of Discord channels that people were quite unhappy with how public sale went for this one. So I'm not 100% sure what's happening there, if people are now a little bit against it, or how popular this project will become. But I think the price is good. I think the artwork is pretty awesome. So I'm thinking about potentially getting a couple of them. Then there's also the Evolving Forest. I think, again, it's an interesting project. You can check out their Discord and their website. You get essentially this little tree. Well, you cannot get seeds anymore, but you get those saplings, I think they're called. And then they grow over time and they evolve essentially. And the floor price is really, really low. It's not far above what it was to mint. So I think it could be quite interesting one again, especially if you want to diversify your portfolio. Anything with the price around 0.1, 0.2 ETH, I think it's worth looking into to see what the community is like, what the project is like, because it's a really good price point to get some NFTs. So I'll be definitely looking at those as well. Potentially, again, get a couple to add to my other NFTs. And then the last project I wanted to mention, and the one I'm really passionate about, is Battle Cats. This one actually hasn't been released yet. There is no date announced yet, but I believe it's supposed to be very, very soon. So maybe worth keeping an eye on it and joining the Discord and their Twitter to see what's happening. I think the artwork is pretty cool. It's nice that you can actually see the whole team. You can follow the whole dev team on Instagram. The designer is really well known and he's done some amazing work in the past. So that's, again, really good bullish sign. And also, well, I like cats and I'm really passionate about wildlife conservation, and part of the profits from this project will go towards protecting big cats. So I think that's really cool. It's just on personal level, it's a really interesting, really cool project for me. So even if it's not just because of artwork and potential for gains. Personally, I just feel passionate about the project overall, so I'll be definitely investing in this one as soon as it's possible to mint them. So yeah, definitely keeping an eye on this one. So just to summarize, I think now it's really good time to get into NFTs, because what we are seeing now with NFT prices is essentially where we were with crypto in the summer of this year. As you can remember, Bitcoin crashed quite considerably from the highs of 60-65k down to at some points even below 30k. A lot of alts got absolutely obliterated, down 80, 90, 95%. And at the same time, it was a really good time for NFTs. A lot of NFT projects were absolutely booming over the summer, especially towards the end of the summer, and then gaming projects started picking up as well. And now, as cryptos are picking up, and especially Bitcoin at the moment is doing really well, NFTs are experiencing this similar pullback cryptos had in the summer. So it's a great buying opportunity, because of course the money that's now in crypto will be putting back into NFTs and causing them to go up in price. So if there are any projects you are interested in or you've missed previously, I think now it's a really good time to get into them, or at least look where the prices are and which way they are going. If they're still a little bit too high, there's a likelihood that they may dip a little bit more over the next few days or a couple of weeks. But eventually, as the Bitcoin's rally stops and there is a bit of a pullback, I think that's when NFTs will start performing a bit better. I think that's it for this video. I hope you found this useful. If you have any comments, suggestions or thoughts, please do let me know in the comments. Otherwise, if you find this content helpful, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.